Hi, thanks for checking in. Trevor Russell here. Okay, drum roll. Have you ever asked yourself or been in this situation or someone that you know is wanting to buy a property and they think that they should buy it in a principal place of residence as opposed to an investment property to save on stamp duty or capital gains, doing it the other way around? Well, you may find this helpful and interesting because I am working with a client at the moment, and this exact same thing just came up yesterday. And I thought here on More Money Monday, it might be helpful for you or someone that you know to understand in more detail the differences between buying a property as a principal place resident or an investment. Would you like to know? Yes? Okay, let's jump into it. All right, so what I did was I do figures, we do figures for our clients like this. We break them down. So our whole thing is to help make things as easy as possible for people to understand when they're borrowing money or buying a business or an investment or a house or whatever it is, as simple and as easy as possible to bring simplicity and understanding to this whole thing around money. Excuse me, let's have a drink. Okay, let's look at what the differences are here. Now, for this friend and client of mine, the person said to them, buy it as a principal place of residence to save on stamp duty. Now, that is the case, right? But that is not the only part of when that goes into having a loan approved and the buying of property. So it's going to be very person specific. Now let's look at this particular person without mentioning any names, of course. They are looking at buying a $520,000 property with a 90% loan, which is, if you don't know this, we call this the loan value ratio. Maybe a bit of learning here is some banking terms is the loan value ratio is the percent of the loan by the value of the property. So at 90%, this loan would be $468,000. And the next thing that we're doing here is we are adding the lender's mortgage insurance, because if you don't already know this, borrowing over 80%, with most institutions, there will be what is, depending on the borrower, actually it can be, anyway, let's just go with that. Always variables, right? The lender's mortgage insurance is the insurance that protects the bank in the event that the borrower can't meet their loan repayments, and they may have to have the lender's mortgage insurance pay the bank out the money if the borrower can't make their loan repayments. It's very rare that this happens these days. The lender's mortgage insurance is not insuring the borrower, it's insuring the bank. And what does happen is, on occasion, very, very rare these days, then the lending mortgage insurance will go after the borrower to get the money, not the bank, right? So let's just be clear on what lender's mortgage insurance is. So look, let's face it, banks are lending a lot of money. They want to make sure that their money and their investment is going to be secure. But that's another video. So that is what LVR and LMI is. Why am I explaining this? Because I'm just explaining how we are coming up with the loan amount and what we're looking at as the differences of buying principal place versus investment. So this particular client and friend of mine, they are working on these numbers, and for them, working on a 10% deposit and fees and charges as an estimate, which are listed here, we're looking at around $71,500 to contribute. Now, that's one element of buying a property, which is, do I have enough money to cover the deposits and costs? That's one part. Then the other part we need to look at is serviceability. Now, the person buying this property needs to be, that's our job as finance consultants and brokers. And if you go to a bank, they will want to work out that you have the money and the income to repay the loan and pay the loan repayments, which in our world, we call it the serviceability calculation. Now, for some people, for this particular example, we use the rental income, if this property is being purchased as an investment, we are going to take the rental income and we're going to add that to the applicant's income position to help pass serviceability. Because for some people, they might want to buy it as a principal place and maybe they're renting, hopefully, where they are. But anyway, that's another part of the equation. But let's say they want to buy it as a principal place to save on stamp duty, but their income doesn't service, and they've got the option to buy it as a principal place or an investment, yes, which this person does. So if we bought it as a principal place to save $7,175, which is the difference between the stamp duty, but we forego $28,000 a year in rental income that we can add to the serviceability, and it doesn't service without that, then we have to buy it as an investment, right? But the other thing is, if we're buying it as an the other thing is people think, I'll buy it as a principal place of residence, and like our lady here, back here, capital gains tax, oh my God, if we buy this property as a principal place, so often I hear people saying, oh, but then I don't have to pay capital gains tax if I live in it for a year, which is not actually true. What happens is the ATO will definitely credit you by not charging you capital gains tax for the term that you live in the property, but for the term that if you go and rent the property out, there will be a proportion of that that capital gains sales figure attributed to the capital gains tax thing, to the numbers. Let's not get caught up in that. But where I'm going with that is you will pay capital gains if you buy a place as a principal place of residence and live in it. But if you end up renting it out at some point, which I've done in the past, there will be a proportion of capital gains tax. But here's the thing with capital gains tax, the way I look at it. Do we all like paying tax? Not necessarily, but we get to live in this country. We get to have great properties and make money. And after you work out, if you've got a good accountant, and if you don't, I've got a good one that you can use. After you work out the purchasing costs, the exiting costs, and making sure that the accounting's done well, capital gains tax doesn't need to be a lot. And let's face it, if you buy a $500,000 property, end up selling it for 1.2, and you've made $600,000 and you have to pay a bit in capital gains tax, I don't think it's a real problem. Let's focus on making money, right? Pay a bit of tax, ATO's happy, we're making money, everyone's happy. And taxes in Australia, pretty good, I feel. Anyway, and we live in a great country. So where am I going next is, in summary, yes, so just to come down here, I just want to show you something also. When you are buying a place if you've got the choice, like my client and friend, she's got the choice to either live in it or rent it out because she already rents somewhere and she can stay there, right? Now, what I call this dilemma is, if you go and move into a place as a principal place to save some capital gains tax and some stamp duty, I call it expensive living. If you don't have to, if you've got the choice, right? Because let's look at this. We've got a property loan. We've got fees and charges, let's say $7,000 a year. I've just given it a rough estimate. And we've got a rental income of $540 a week, which I think is very achievable in this market, by the way, because we're in this rare time now where property prices will always go up, by the way. It might slow down a bit, but we've got a good rental market, very, very good time for people in Australia owning property because we have a growing shortage of rental properties in certain areas, that is. So let's just say we're at 540. Now, if we are having these outgoings and this rental income, we're actually a little bit ahead. But let's do this. Let's decide to save some money. We're going to live in it. We're now paying out of pocket $25,000 a year to save $7,175 on stamp duty and keep it as a principal place to avoid capital gains tax. I call that expensive living. So, but let's summarize the important points. And of course, if you want to have a chat about this, We do this all the time for clients. I can give you a copy of this template. But if you're not sure about whether buying a place as a principal place or an investment property, I would highly recommend it, whether it's me and my lawyers and conveyancers and accountants speak with you or whoever, just make sure that you get the right advice and they look at the whole picture. Yeah? Because just to have a throwaway comment like, oh, just buy it as a principal place is not enough, especially for people that know all the various parts that go into buying a property and person specific to their specific financial situation. Okay. That's my first important tip I would highly recommend that you remember. And I say this respectfully, of course, because I know many people watching this are experienced in this area, and it might be a good reminder or for someone that you know. If you are buying a principal place and we need to use the rental income for servicing, it will have to be purchased as an investment property. Okay. And you don't have to live in the property to reap the benefits. Okay, you can rent the property out, and it can be very. There's a saying which is rent where you live and rent out what you own, which is the way I personally have always done it. But person specific, because I know some people like to, feel that what they're in is their place, and that makes sense. But again, from an accounting finance perspective, there's definitely benefits to renting what you own out. Yeah. Okay. The next thing is if you are living in the property and you are buying it as a principal place, and that is your genuine goal and wish, what I would suggest is, if you don't already know this, but as a pleasant reminder, I would make it a principal and interest loan, budget well, put extra money into the loan, have an offset account to make sure you can really minimize your loan repayments and pay that home loan off sooner, so you've actually got an asset that you actually own and freed up from the mortgage as soon as possible. Yeah? Okay, thank you for watching. Just thought you might find that helpful. Wanted to share this with you because I see this coming up a lot. And if you want to reach out to us here at Results Investment Group at Inquiries, we help all forms of people with all forms of lending, helping them buy properties, investment properties, businesses, commercial property, assets. We also have people that we work with. If you are looking for a property or a business, we have some people that help with helping refine business numbers to make loans work, to do good projections. So there's a lot of things that we can help with, my team and I. So here's my website here, the Result Investment Group. You can go there and it talks all about what we do. But really, thank you. Most importantly, this is about you. Thanks for watching. I'm going to see if this works. This is me, Trevor Russell, working from home today and about to head off to a meeting. But thanks for watching. Really appreciate your time. I hope you found that helpful. Have a think about it. It's important, and there's many elements that go into these very important decisions for you, your money working at its best and making good, smart decisions. Here to help if you want help. Reach out and look forward to chatting soon. Ciao for now.